If you've been keeping up with any of your local news stations lately, you should be aware of the natural devastation that has occurred in the United States over the last month, continuing to this day. Fires, hurricanes, tropical storms, earthquakes, the list goes on. The western states are on fire while the southern states are drowned underwater. There are natural as well as human causes contributing to these disasters. I want to bring awareness to what is currently going on in the United States. While the South drowns amid a succession of unprecedented and record-shattering hurricanes, the West is burning. According to an article on the HuffPost by Ryan Grenoble, there are some 172 fires burning across the region, 78 of which the National Interagency Fire Center considers large incidents of greater than 100 forested acres or 300 grassland acres. So far this year, more than 8 million acres have burned, scorching multiple states in the Pacific Northwest and smothering cities in unhealthy amounts of smoke. There are currently upwards of 26,000 firefighters deployed across the West fighting the fires. Of this, 9 firefighters have died and 35 have been injured. The fires have destroyed an estimated 500 single-family homes and 32 commercial buildings this year. As many as 9 western states have been hit hard by the fires, including Montana, Oregon, Washington, California, Idaho, and outside of the U.S., parts of Canada. The 2017 wildfire season is on track to be the worst fire season in a decade. But how did we get to this state? According to an ABC News article by Dan Elliott, the heavy snows last winter brought relief from a long and brutal drought and produced lush growth of natural grasses that were thicker and taller than many vegetation experts have seen. The weather turned very hot very fast in the spring, and the snow melted faster than expected, drying out the grasses and forests at high elevations, leaving plenty of fuel for wildfires. The summer brought less rain than usual, and the humidity was low. Hotter and drier weathers are symptoms of the human-caused climate change. According to ABC News, the outlook is bleak for Montana, most of the Northwest, and much of California through September, and the fire risk should remain high in some areas through October. While the West is on fire, the exact opposite is happening to some U.S. southern states. Hurricane Harvey hit Texas on August 25th. According to the New York Times, Harvey devastated a swath of Texas, stretching from the Houston area into Louisiana, with rainfall topping 50 inches in some areas. At least 70 people have died, and survivors face battles of their own. What set Harvey apart was its rain. Once it hit landfall, the storm essentially stalled, turning roads into rivers. What caused Hurricane Harvey to be so destructive? Scientists say that the warm water in the Gulf of Mexico intensified the rainfall, and there was a lack of winds in the upper atmosphere that could have steered Harvey away from the land. According to the New York Times, scientists are increasingly able to link some extreme weather events to climate change. However, when it comes to hurricanes, there are a lot of unknowns. What is clear, though, is that the rising global temperatures warm the oceans, which causes more water to evaporate into the atmosphere. The buildup of moisture contributes to the global increase in extreme rainfall. Dr. Kenneth Kunkel, a researcher with the North Carolina Institute for Climate Studies, says that even without climate change, the oceans are normally warm for this part of the year. The Gulf of Mexico has been warmer than average lately, most likely feeding into the deluge. Although the storm was downgraded from a Category 4 strength to a tropical storm, the devastation was still severe. There was a surge of 8 to 10 feet in the coastal areas, with as much as 12 feet in some shallow areas. Nearly 300 miles of Texas coast and parts of Louisiana were flooded and displaced millions of people. More than 21,000 people still remain in shelters. Another hurricane is currently, to this day, hitting the shores of the U.S. in Florida. Hurricane Irma has already surged the Caribbean, killing 25 people. The hurricane hit the U.S. mainland on Sunday morning, bringing with it 135-mile-per-hour winds that have left nearly 2 million people without power. Some 6.4 million Florida people have been ordered to evacuate, and those who have decided to stay will be on their own, as dispatchers said that they will not respond to 911 calls during the storm, and relief efforts or evaluations will not be made until after the storm has calmed down. Already 3 deaths have been recorded, but more are suspected as the storm surges on. Before hitting the U.S. mainland earlier today, the storm pounded the Bahamas and the northern part of Cuba as a Category 5 storm with 160-mile-per-hour winds and causing major flooding. Irma is among the strongest hurricanes ever recorded in the Atlantic Ocean. As the hurricane has continued up the western coastline, the storm has diminished to a Category 2 with a maximum of 110-mile-per-hour winds. Irma is uprooting trees and turning streets into rivers. The waters are rapidly rising in Naples as the storm turns north, threatening Fort Myers and Tampa, Florida. Relief efforts are hanging in and ready to take action as soon as it is safe to do so. The hurricane isn't suspected to subside until Monday. Mass evacuations jammed highways heading north and created a severe gas shortage in some parts of the state. As Irma moves inland, more than 45 million people will face tropical storm conditions, meaning winds will top 39 miles per hour. These affected states include Florida, Georgia, Atlanta, Tennessee, and the South and North Carolinas. The fires in the western part of the United States and the 2 hurricanes that have hit landfall in Texas and Florida have caused massive destruction. Some of this devastation is caused by climate change, which is largely impacted by human behavior. Relief efforts are underway to help the people affected by these natural disasters and are trying to clean up our land. There are many places to donate to relief efforts online. Every little bit will help restore order to the people, cities, and the U.S.